In this video, we will continue discussing ways to evaluate intern performance, specifically focusing on conducting performance reviews. As discussed in video 3, there are different considerations when evaluating interns versus employees. One practical difference is the performance review tool you will use. At the outset of the internship, you will want to orient yourself to the performance review form provided by the internship program. Familiarize yourself with the broad domains and specific competencies you will be asked to evaluate, and pay close attention to the rating scale and the definitions of the anchors. Consider that the performance review will likely be a new experience for your intern, who is accustomed to receiving grades rather than workplace feedback. You and your intern are encouraged to look over the review form in advance. The form is located in the internship handbook. Direct any questions you have about the form to your contact at the college.
The HDFS Internship Performance Review Tool uses a 4-point behavioral rating scale to evaluate intern performance. The rating scale ranges from outstanding to unsatisfactory. Let's take a closer look at the points along the scale. For an intern to be rated as outstanding, their performance should be beyond what is expected for an intern. Think here performance that is truly exceptional and perfectly on par with current employees. The satisfactory rating communicates that the intern's performance is right on target. The intern meets expectations for a novice learner and performs capably with occasional assistance, direction, and supervision from site staff. In our experience, the satisfactory rating is the most commonly used rating. The needs improvement rating should be used when the intern's performance is below or approaching expectations. The intern may need regular assistance, direction, and supervision completing tasks. For example, an intern whose written work requires multiple rounds of review and editing. Needs improvement can also be used in cases where the intern needs more time to develop skills or demonstrate performance. For instance, an intern who has only had one opportunity to conduct a client intake interview. The needs improvement rating is an expected and acceptable rating on the performance review, as every intern will have strengths and areas for further development. A rating of unsatisfactory should be given when the intern's performance falls below minimum expectations of a new learner. The intern may be unable to perform independently and require considerable assistance, direction, and supervision. Unsatisfactory ratings can also be used to communicate about areas in which an intern has demonstrated performance that is consistently unprofessional, unethical, or unresponsive to feedback.
When completing the review form, you may encounter items that you feel you cannot answer. The rating option "No Opportunity" may be applicable in these instances. The performance review form was designed to reflect the academic learning goals of the HDFS capstone internship. The same form is used by each internship site, though we recognize that sites are different, and not all items on the form align with the intern's responsibilities or even the work of the internship site. For example, an intern whose work responsibilities focus on program development and evaluation may have few opportunities to help children, adults, or families create goals. Cases like this are where the rating "No Opportunity" should be used, as the item does not pertain to the work of the internship. There may be times when "No Opportunity" seems applicable to a whole section on the review form. In these instances, we advise you to broadly consider each item. Take, for example, the item "Treats children, adults, and/or families from different sociocultural backgrounds with fairness and respect." Although a program evaluation intern may not work in a direct service capacity with these groups, the intern may daily have opportunities to demonstrate respect for diversity with the staff at the internship site. Rating this item as "No Opportunity" would be a missed opportunity to capture an important aspect of the intern's performance.
Now that you're familiar with the review form, let's discuss how to approach completing the performance review process. The goal of the performance review is to communicate to the intern about their strengths and areas for improvement. Thus, framing the performance review in developmental terms can be particularly helpful. Think about the intern's performance at the beginning of the internship and at the time of the review. In what areas has the intern demonstrated the most growth? You can also think about the intern's goals, as well as your organization's expectations for entry-level employees. In what areas can the intern further develop? Because interns are novice learners, it is not expected that they will receive top ratings across all criteria. If an intern achieves top marks in every area, that would suggest that the intern has little else to learn, which is highly unlikely in an 8 or 16-week internship span. It is also not expected that interns will receive low marks in every area. Even though they may be new to the field, most interns possess basic knowledge and skills and have an eagerness to learn. The performance review should communicate where the intern is making the most progress and where more attention is needed. In short, the expectations for your intern's performance should neither be too low nor too high.
It can be impossible for site supervisors to have insight into every aspect of the intern's performance. In order to develop a well-rounded evaluation, we recommend that you gather multiple sources of data. First, of course, are your observations of the intern's performance. Other data sources include staff who have observed or worked with the intern, relevant stakeholders such as partner organizations, volunteers, and clients, and reviews of the intern's work products. When consulting other data sources, be sure to gather specific examples of the intern's performance and accomplishments to inform your ratings, or have staff members complete sections of the performance review form. Going a step further, you can invite the intern to complete the review form independently of you. This encourages the intern to reflect on their growth and adds to the collaborative nature of the process. The intern may feel empowered by the opportunity to share their perspective, and you can gain insights that may inform your ratings of the intern. At the review meeting, you and the intern can talk through your respective ratings and, if appropriate, reconcile any discrepancies. Past experience with this approach suggests it to be a productive process for both parties.
The most important part of the review form is the last page, where you can provide feedback about the intern's overall performance in your own words. When giving feedback, take care to provide concrete behavioral examples of your intern's strengths and areas for improvement. Being specific about what your intern is doing well helps to reinforce intern behavior and increase confidence and morale. It's equally important to be specific about areas for improvement, as well as strategies and resources that can lead to that improvement. Our interns tend to be eager to receive feedback about how they can improve their skills and performance. If you struggle to identify your intern's areas for improvement, consider growth edges, ways in which your intern can enhance performance to reach more advanced levels. Noting areas for improvement can also be beneficial to you as site supervisor. If you realize that an intern has had limited opportunity for development, you can adjust the internship priorities and activities accordingly. The final step on the review form is assigning a letter grade to the intern's performance. We recognize that the assignment of a letter grade is not a customary part of performance reviews in most workplaces. As a college internship program, letter grades are how we communicate about performance. To assist you with determining what letter grade to give your intern, there's a rubric in the handbook that details what the expected behaviors are for each performance level. In addition to the letter grade, you have the option to use plus or minus as appropriate. If you have trouble determining what letter grade to assign your intern, feel free to consult with your contact at the college.
After you complete the performance review form, provide your intern with a copy and schedule a time to discuss the performance review results. The goals of this discussion are to ensure that the intern understands your ratings of their performance, can identify their strengths and areas for improvement, and leaves with an action plan for continuing their professional growth. As site supervisors, we leave it to you to decide how you will conduct the review meeting with your intern. The review meeting should simulate how reviews take place in a typical workplace, and you are the expert on that. At the same time, we want the review process to take into account the intern's learner status. Remember to 1, orient your intern to the evaluation process, as it may be new to them. 2, provide balanced and specific feedback to your intern and point them to resources that will foster their development. And 3, solicit your intern's input on their performance and how they can grow.